lot of big companies are still testing, but my guess is that money is running low and the testing won't continue for much longer. When do you think we get to the point where, people aren't tracking if it's COVID or if it's flu or if it's a cold or something else?
Well, look, I think we're at the point right now where we don't have to impose population-level measures. So we probably shouldn't be doing asymptomatic testing other than in very high-risk settings where you have special circumstances, like perhaps a nursing home where you want to be more vigilant with your staff. We shouldn't be requiring masks. The onus should be put on the individual. But I do think we need to change the culture around infectious diseases more generally, and that people should be actively encouraged when they're not feeling well to stay home, to get themselves tested, when they're a close contact, to take some precautions to make sure that they're not going to asymptomatically spread the infection into a congregate setting. So we need to shift the burden to the individual. And you've seen policymakers starting to do that and talk that way. It hasn't been as explicit of a discussion. And I think we need to be quite explicit about it if we're going to try to change the culture around respiratory pathogens more generally in congregate settings in the workplace.
Hey, Scott, I hear you on that, but I also want to look at it kind of realistically. If I stayed home every day I didn't feel well, I wouldn't be showing up for work a lot. I get it. And look, I'm happy to test every day if they want me to do that. But if I don't come to work when I don't feel good, there's not going to be a lot of days. I'm up at 3:30. There's a lot of late nights that I'm up and out at work functions. How do you deal with something like that? You don't want to be putting other people at risk, but you also have to deal with the realities of you have to do your job.
Yeah, look, I think there's a difference between feeling groggy and, feeling like you may have a cold. I think when people feel like they may have a viral illness, and we know the signs and symptoms of a viral illness, people should be vigilant. People should be trying to test themselves before they go into a setting, especially when you're in a sort of moderate prevalent environment. I think as we head into the summer, prevalence is going to be so low. And it's pretty low right now, although there probably are more cases than we're picking up. But heading into the summer, prevalence is going to be so low that I think this is going to really fade from our consciousness. We're not going to be worried that we have COVID if we don't feel well. We're not going to be worried about bringing COVID into a setting or carrying it out of a setting. But as you head into the fall, as we return to work, when cases are likely to pick up, I think we're going to need to conform the workplace to this. If we want to have a setting where we're not requiring people to wear masks, where we're not testing people every day, where we're not taking precautions on entry, the burden's going to need to be on the individual, and we're going to need to be more vigilant, not just around COVID, but around flu. I don't think we're going to be able to be as complacent about the risk of respiratory pathogens in the workplace as we've been in the past. And that also, as we've talked about, that also means retrofitting the workplace, improving air quality, air handling, air filtration in confined settings so that you reduce the risk of a super spreading event, not just from COVID, but also from flu. Remember, we're going to have a very bad flu season at some point on the back end of this. This is another year where we've had a very low flu season. There is some flu spread, particularly in the Southwest right now, but we have not had a very broad flu season this year. We're due for one.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.